Good evening and welcome to the Fort Wayne Community Schools Board of Trustees meeting for Monday, June 28th. This meeting will be open to the public during Indiana's ongoing public health emergency as declared by Governor Holcomb. Masks must be worn at all times on Fort Wayne Community School grounds. Social distancing will be practiced at the meeting, therefore some members of the public who wish to attend may be excluded. If you plan to attend, the media should email Krista Stockman and all others should email the clerk of the board. The public is encouraged to view the meeting at Cable Comcast 54 and Frontier 24, the live stream on our Facebook page, or the LTV 2454 FWCS YouTube channel. Priority for attendance in person will be given to the members of the media. Okay, and we'll begin our meeting, as we always do, with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A roll call of members.
Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Hello, Raleigh Booker, 4th District.
Jennifer Mathias, the 2nd District.
Maria Norman, Member at Large.
Julie Hollingsworth, elected from District 1.
Noah Smith, District 3.
And to my left is Angela Filler, the clerk of the board, and Dr. Daniel, our superintendent. And I'm Ann Duff, member at large. And we will begin with our consent agenda, which includes the approval of the minutes, vouchers and payroll, and our personnel report. Is there a motion on the floor to approve these items?
Madam Chair, I'd move approval of the items listed under the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. And Dr. Daniel, is there anything on the personnel report you'd like to address?
No, there is not tonight.
Okay. All right, then our first recommendation is school technology advancement.
Can I vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Whoops. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Now we'll move on.
Someplace to be?
It seems like every meeting I do something. I'll get it straight one time, maybe. So, it is recommended that the board approve the application for and the receipt of advancement from the School Technology Advancement Account, STAA, in the amount of $569,200 for the 2021-22 school year. The School Technology Advancement Account provides funds annually for school systems to purchase computer technology for student instruction. FWCS uses these monies to fund learning and technology plans of schools. The request of $569,200 is based on a guideline provided by the state of $500 for each 25 students. Funds are provided in the form of a loan with a very low interest rate. The last loan under this program had an interest rate of 1%. Funds would be budgeted in the debt service fund to repay this loan beginning in 2023, and questions will be addressed by Technology Coordinator Steve Armstrong. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
I move.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Steve? Okay, seeing there are none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and next up is Strength and Conditioning Rooms Equipment Replacement Project. Jennifer, could you read that one?
It is recommended that the board approve the contract for the replacement of strength and conditioning equipment at 5 high schools. Direct Fitness Solutions, LLC, for a total contract of $914,287.90. Project includes the replacement of strength and conditioning equipment at Northside, Northrop, Snyder, Southside, and Wayne High Schools. Proposals were obtained via a public request for proposals process, with 3 proposals being received. The project is funded from a combination of the Operations Fund and the 2016 School Basic Renewal Restoration and Safety Project Funds Bond. Projects funded from the Operations Fund are identified in the Capital Projects Plan. This recommendation is within the project budget. Project specifications require the work to be complete by July 29, 2022. Questions will be addressed by Director of Facilities Darren Hess.
Thank you. Is there a motion for approval?
I move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. And do we have any questions for Darren?
Yeah, Darren, I have a question. I know that I asked this before the meeting, but can you give us just an update on when the last time that we purchased equipment like this was?
I don't think we've ever purchased wholesale equipment like this in the past. The schools have been responsible for that in the past with fundraising and replacing certain components at certain times when they wear out. But most of the equipment that is currently out there is outdated, and what we were able to repurpose, we've incorporated that into new design, or they provide us a credit for that equipment.
And with this contract, does it include any kind of warranty or service, maintenance contract component?
Yeah, it includes all of the manufacturer's standard warranties beyond 1 year. All the equipment has a standard 1-year labor and material warranty, and then the first year has all preventive maintenance included. And then they provide us with a 3- and 5-year maintenance plan that's not included in this contract, but we do intend to do preventive maintenance plans in the future.
Sure. Okay. And is this equipment going to be personalized by school, like with colors or logos, graphics?
Through the standard colors, there's like 22 different colors, so they'll be able to standardize it through that as part of the base bid.
I notice this is going to take us a year. Is there some work to the buildings themselves, or is it because of an equipment shortage?
All three, and I'll give you the third one. You only asked two. Equipment shortage right now. The steel for the barbells and weights that's they're on back order. A lot of the components are, but mainly this gives us time to make some changes to a little bit at north side, at south side, to make the rooms a little more manageable. And Wayne, we have to wait till next summer because the current weight room as is not going to be the new weight room.
Okay. Thank you.
So you said in the past, each individual school supplied their own?
In the past,
Yeah.
yes.
So this will put them all kind of on an even playing field from that standpoint?
Yeah, that was one of the main intent through this process, is to look at all of them with equitable and allowing all of our students, whether they're students or student athletes, because we had a lot of interaction with curriculum to make sure that the classes taught during the day, the wellness classes, were identified as well. So it's those fitness classes, but then weight training for wrestling, but girls cross country, volleyball, that all the equipment could use for all those different programs.
Was this something that's been thought of for a while or just recently developed? Or?
It's about a year, I'd say a good year in the process, yes.
You mentioned that before the schools were responsible for getting their own equipment. So now that the district is providing this equipment, will we continue to repair, replace, and provide equipment for these rooms?
Yeah, the intent is to have a future funding plan for equipment, especially major purchases like this. Okay. Anything with liability increases the cost of the equipment. So the athletic budgets will see some relief on this, but there's other items that they're far behind on and other equipment that they can use those funds for.
Will each facility have someone designated in that room that understands all the equipment? I understand each sport has their own trainer or such for their specific goal, but will we as a district have a person that's responsible for this room?
Yeah, that's also a fourth reason, Steve, of why we're not doing this till the end of the year. We are developing that program so that especially our lay coaches that come in that may not be familiar with the equipment, that they have a set forth fitness plan for their individual athlete, whether it's tennis or wrestling. So it gives us that opportunity, but yes, we're working towards that.
Great.
Darren, do these specific machines have a lifespan or an average lifespan?
Yes, a lot of this is actually separate items, so, barbells and dumbbells and that, and, those have a lower life expectancy because they get hit on the floor, they get bumped a lot. We did choose a lot of equipment that had not a lot of electrical components, very expensive things to replace in the future, where we could do it through resistance and friction. But all of them have different varying lifespans, and that's usually a year after the warranty. So if you go look at all the warranties, anything from 5 to 20 years on this equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for Darren? All right, thank you, Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and next we have the appointment of project architect engineers for 2022 construction projects. And Julie.
It's recommended that the board approve the appointment of a project architect engineer for the following projects. HVAC improvements at the Anthus Center and Anthus Automotive, stadium waterproofing at Northside and Southside High Schools. So the HVAC, that's primary engineering, contract fee about $271,000, estimated construction budget $4.6 million, and the stadium waterproofing is Martin Riley Architects Engineers. That fee is $49,000, and the construction budget is $592,000. Indiana law requires that projects over $100,000 make use of a registered architect or a professional engineer for developing plans and specifications. Projects, architects, engineers need to be appointed now to allow sufficient time for planning and bidding of the project to ensure construction starts during the summer of 2022. The projects at the Anthus Center and Anthus Automotive will be funded from the Elementary and Secondary Emergency Education Relief Grant, that's ESSER 2. And the project at Northside and Southside will be funded from the 2016 School Basic Building Renewal and Restoration and Safety Bond, so the referendum bond. And questions will be, again, addressed by Director of Facilities Darren Hess.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And do we have any questions for Darren? Okay, seeing there are none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and Steve, appointment of project architect and construction manager as constructor for the renovations of Arlington and Lincoln Elementary Schools.
Yes. It's recommended we approve the following contracts for work at Arlington and Lincoln Elementary Schools. The two contracts before us for our consideration: architectural and engineering services, Garmin Miller, total estimated design services contract, $589,375, and then for pre-construction CMC services, Michael Kinder and Sons, and that contract would be for $39,900. The projects at the schools consist of architectural renovations to provide enclosed classrooms in areas that were originally constructed as open concept classrooms. Remember that? Renovations will include replacement of exterior windows, mechanical upgrades, and associated electrical upgrades as needed to support the improvements with a focus on improving indoor air quality. The contract procurement method for these projects is the construction manager as constructor for publicly funded projects allowed under state law. The recommendation includes design services contract based on a percentage of construction value, as well as a fixed fee for contractor pre-construction services. Overall budget for the projects is estimated at $10,250,000, and we are going to use ESSER money for this work. And Darren is still here with us if we have questions.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Is there a motion for approval?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, and do we have any questions for Darren?
I do have one question. Do we have any other schools with open classrooms left?
No.
Thank you.
This will be it.
And those were, these schools were built when? 70s, 80s?
Early 70s, 72, 73.
Your name's not on the plaque, Steve?
I probably voted for it, right?
Could not resist.
Yeah. Well, the teachers will be thankful.
Are they the same design? I mean, the same, were they constructed exactly the same?
The core of the building, yes, and
Okay.
Arlington had 2 additions and Lincoln had 2 additions, and the additions are different, but the main focus that we're doing with this project is that core.
Okay, so it makes sense to have the same companies do the work at both schools.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Are the classrooms partitioned off currently, or just making it more permanent, or are they still open?
They're, even with all the partitions closed, they're still open. There's not a physical way at this point to close off the classrooms from another.
I've done some reading there to kids, and the teachers use shelving and other
Okay.
ways to,
To make a wall.
yeah, they've created their own walls.
Anything else for Darren?
Is there an estimated start time on these?
It will likely be spring of 2022, work through summer of 2022, evenings of 22, 23, and then finish up summer of 2023. These projects have to be complete by September 30th, 2023 for ESSER reimbursable.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and installation of school clinic HVAC air purifiers. Raleigh?
It is recommended that the board approve the following contract for needlepoint ionization plasma air purification units to be installed on each school's clinic's HVAC units. Simons Industry, Inc. Has a contract for a total of $190,000. The project consists of providing and installing Global Plasma Systems O2 Prime Advanced Plasma Air Purification Units. The GPS O2 Prime system is proprietary, and Simons Industry, Inc. is the single source vendor for this work. The project will be funded from the Elementary and Secondary Emergency Education Relief, or ESSER 2, grant. The work is anticipated to be substantially complete by October 31st, 2021, and Darren is here to answer questions about this as well.
Thank you. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions for Darren?
So just to satisfy my curiosity, what's needlepoint ionization? I assume doesn't mean somebody crocheted it.
Yeah. The units are set in the airstream of the air handlers, and it introduces both positive and negative ions into the airstream. And through the process of agglomeration, they attach smaller particles to them, which makes them larger particles over time, and that will get caught in our filters instead of continuing into the airstream. So it makes those bad particles kind of join together with good particles and get caught up in the filtration system.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Darren. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the report of the 2020 gifts, grants, and donations. Noah?
It is recommended that attached, which isn't demonstrated here, but listed gifts, grants, and donations be officially accepted by the board. Throughout the school year, various schools receive gifts, donations from individuals, organizations, and businesses. Authorizations to receive gifts is a board function. The State Board of Accounts has agreed that a listing of all gifts received during any one year and ratified by the board would meet audit requirements. We will provide a listing of gifts, grants, and donations submitted by various FWCS unit heads, and a report can be found in the business office. All unit heads are encouraged to express appropriate appreciation for any and all gifts received. All questions will be answered by Kathy Fred today.
Thank you, Noah. Is there a motion on the floor for approval?
Move for approval?
Second.
Thank you. And do we have any questions for Kathy?
No question, but, oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, after you.
Well, I mean, you know, in the past, I remember those of us that were on the board before used to get that thick paper copy of all the gifts and donations and grants, and I forget, I of course didn't print it out and bring it with me. But
Yes, there were many churches and PTAs and businesses, Rotary. I'm going to think of off the top of my head. It just shows what great donors we have and what great partners we have with our community. I can think of any others that we...
Well, I did a quick math next to the math teacher. Elementary schools received about 184,000, middle school 113,000, high schools 116,000, and other departments almost 250,000 for a total of almost $670,000. The largest single donation was 145,000, and the smallest donation was $5. So all varying types and kinds, and so I think on behalf of the board, thank you to the community.
Absolutely. Anything else? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that concludes our business portion of our meeting. So I guess we are ready for member comments.
Noah, I checked, I Googled the year those schools, those mistake schools were built. I was not on this board. And Darren, I don't think was even born, 1975, so don't blame us for those open classrooms.
I have no comment tonight.
I have no comments tonight.
No comments.
Julie?
Just to follow up on, I was asked by Dirk Raleigh from Wayne TV about, in reaction to the voucher article, I wrote what my recommendations would be, and again, my two top recommendations would be that I think it's time for our legislature to take up the idea of funding textbooks for public school students. You know, if you send your child to a private school, you can get a $1,000 tax credit. I remember when that happened, we asked for that to, or at least some of it, maybe half of it, to be applied to public school students as well, or parents, and that was not. So I think it's time for the legislature to consider that. And then the second recommendation is just that, you know, with now so many programs to fund students that are not in public schools, I think the time is clearly here for increased financial accountability for that taxpayer money. I think we deserve to know that it's being spent appropriately, and you know, not that I have any evidence that it's not, but you know, in so many other programs that are run with government funds, there's accountability built in, and I believe that that taxpayer money also deserves fiscal accountability. So enjoy the next, we meet again in a month?
Yes.
So enjoy the next month.
One meeting in July. Noah?
Thank you. The only thing I have to say, wearing my Snyder shirt tonight, our last meeting for July is the Woodson Camp, one of Fort Wayne Community Schools' most famous alumni, is coming back to Fort Wayne to Snyder on July 6th through the 8th, I believe, or 9th, to run a I Hope football camp for any young men or women, for that matter, to be interested. Love to see Maria's son out there. It'll be fun. But it'll be Snyder July 6th through the 8th, and I think it'll be a great program. And again, Rod Woodson putting that on. So thanks to Rod and his group. That's all.
All right, thank you. And so we only have one meeting in July, which is July 26th. So at that time I will probably not be reading that thing I've been reading at the beginning, maybe a new version of that. So we'll see what that entails. But there's, Dr. Daniel, do you have any?
Just wanted to update you on summer school. So we have approximately 1,213 students involved. That's Jumpstart at both the Blackhawk and Memorial Park Middle Schools, which about 500 students are there. And then the rest which is about 700 plus that are in our credit recovery programs at each of our high schools. So principals and assistant principals and staff have been contacting parents. Again, our first session has been completed. We'll start a second one after the July 4th week. So with that, we're encouraging our parents. If your child has been invited, please respond. We'd like to fill all these positions as much as we possibly can. So
If a child did not attend first session, can they still attend second session for Jump Start?
if they've been given an invitation, they should have received that.
Okay.
And yes, they could extend it to the second session. And of course, we also have the community sites. The YMCA has 4 locations with 8 of our teachers, Parks and Rec with 4 locations with 8 teachers, and Boys Girls Club 3 locations with 7, and Ewell Wilson Center with 1 location with 3 teachers. So we're looking at about a 75% rate of attendance. This is, again, a renewal of the Jump Start program funded through our ESSER dollars, and trying to figure out, post this summer school, what do we need to do differently to increase that participation rate? And then also, hopefully, we'll see dividends in regards to closing those gaps with those students. So we do plan on analyzing that afterwards when this is fully completed. But I do want to say thank you to our teachers and our support staffs that are participating during the summer months to do this. But again, the question, how do you reduce this gap, and how do we have continuous credit recovery throughout the school year, not just during summer school? So we're thinking along those lines as well. So just to keep you posted. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Is there a motion on the floor to adjourn our meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and at this time, we invite guest comments. We ask speakers to limit remarks to 3 minutes. The board and superintendent may not answer or